group discussed two methods. The stakeholder panel, which you will hear about in a second, and the future search conference, which I will be telling about. Well, what are some points that came up in our discussion of the theme that a future search conference can be relevant for? Well, the subject of the theme or theme should have conflict. This is a method for subjects that people are really not agreeing upon. That being said, the subject shouldn't be too vague. It should be a well-defined conflict or problem, because you need experts and stakeholders to discuss about it. So if the problem is really vague and in the future you can't find the people to participate in the process. Also, it's kind of in the name as well, it should be future problems, not urgent, immediate problems. It's long-term method. And we came up with some examples in the groups, like the GMOs could be suited for this method. Nuclear waste disposal is a relevant topic. So what do you do with all this? We have these nuclear power plants and they make waste. So what to do with that, how you can go on. And if I say it correctly, shale gas was also from Denmark and an option to Okay, what are the results and what kind of impacts the future search conference could result in? Well, the goal of the process is, or the idea of the conference is that you try to get some agreement on the future aspects of something. It doesn't mean that you have to agree on everything in the future, that you leave the process with one shared vision, because you come in with conflict and that's not realistic. But you can have some shared visions. You can have agreement on criteria that, for example, the nuclear waste projects should meet, or you can have shared questions leaving the project, or other things. It's not that you have all one big happy family in the end, but some agreements in the future. And we also said that the goal is the process, or the process is the goal. This kind of it's not just one afternoon, it's a longer process. And in looking at the future, people also bond, and this can help in the present day conflict, because well, something happens in the, I don't know how to say it in English, but something happens in the process of discussing the future in this method. So we wrote, discussing the future helps for the present too. The methods also have limits. You can't use it for any type of problem. For example, when the conflict has escalated to really big fights amongst experts, it's not so suitable. People still need to be able to engage in rational discussion on the topic. If they just start fighting, well, you need to find some other way to deal with it. If the problem is too vague, this is also not the method you need to choose, or you can choose. You need to be able to discuss something. There need to be alternatives. You need to find people who can, in this, are stakeholders or are experts. So if everything is really vague, or there aren't alternatives to discuss, you have to look further and not choose the future search conference. If the problem is short term, again, more or less by definition, this looks at the long term. If it's a really urgent problem, you need to deal with it in another way. And if the problem is, well, we said small because I didn't know how to phrase it, but it means if it's too local, this is not, well, maybe I should have said it in the beginning, but you need 8 groups of 8 experts or stakeholders to discuss it in this method. So if there's a really local problem or a small problem, you can't just find enough people to participate. You need 64 stakeholder experts to pull this off. So these are some highlights of the Future Search Conference. There's many more things to tell, but let's not do that.
Okay.
Okay.